are you a people pleaser? There's some great qualities of people pleasers. Often they are people who are kind, considerate, friendly, fun, often energetic, people who really pay attention to other people's needs, listen well, show empathy. Really wonderful qualities. But under times of stress and pressure, those people-pleasing qualities can lead you to forget your own needs and not really pay attention to your own priorities, the result of which is often a serious lack of time. I've been coaching for around 10 years or so now, and I know that many people struggle with time. I hear people often saying, oh, I just don't have enough time to do that, or I don't have enough time for my family, for my hobbies. And it's true, right? We are all really busy. We only have the same amount of time. So I have 24 hours in a day, you have 24 hours in a day, but the way we use our time can vary greatly depending on our needs and our priorities. What I know as a coach is that it's often our habits and behaviours that are the problems when it comes to time. It's not actually the fact that we can't make choices about how we want to spend our time, and it's not that we're necessarily have too much on our plate. It's just about the habits and behaviours that we've developed over the years don't necessarily lead us to make those decisions well, or make decisions that serve us in order to get the most from our time. And one of the habits that comes up quite frequently with people who are struggling for time is that they have a people-pleasing habit. So what tends to happen is when you're really busy, you feel that stress and pressure. And in those moments, your people-pleasing tendencies go into overdrive, and you try to help others even more than you do naturally when you're in a relaxed state. So as you look to please others, you forget about what it is that you need to be doing, and so your time just gets distorted between what you're doing for other people, projects that perhaps you shouldn't actually be involved in, overcommitting to certain levels of work when actually you don't necessarily need to be the person that jumps in. People pleasers can also have a tendency to want to rescue others. So recognition and feedback are really valuable things to people who have a pleasing tendency. But what actually happens is you'll see somebody in distress, let's say, and you'll be the one who wants to dive in and rescue that person because it gives you a real sense of fulfillment and happiness, and that you're adding value to that person's life. But that tendency to rescue people, again, when you're under stress and pressure, whilst it is a wonderful quality, may lead you to take over rather than to maybe help and guide and coach and help that person to thrive for themselves, which in the long term will be better for that person and also better for you because it gives you sort of time and space rather than doing the tasks for that person. So I am writing about that this week in my blog at www.zoe-hawkins.com/blog. And I've got some strategies as well, which I take a look at. So bear with me. What have I said this week? So I've got 5 in the blog. Let's just pick out a couple. First one I talk about is you don't have to make people happy. So people pleasers have a tendency to want to make people happy, and there's often an underlying message, if you like, particularly when you're stressed, that says I'm only okay if other people are happy, or I'm only okay if I make other people happy. The truth of the matter is you're okay whether you make people happy or not. It's just that is an unconscious message that is driving these behaviours to lead you to want to help people. Again, great quality, but not always the best when it comes to serving you. So how do you move beyond that? There's some learning to be done in terms of it's okay for people to be unhappy. Unhappiness, whilst it's uncomfortable, is a normal human emotion that for most people will pass. You don't have to fix it every time it shows up. Other things that you can do instead is to just create space for listening. People love to be listened to. It's a very rare thing that actually happens. Creating a space where people can talk and not be judged and to listen without the need to give advice or solutions, can create a really creative space for somebody to process what it is that they're actually struggling with that's making them unhappy. So different ways to help. You don't have to make them happy. You don't have to save them from their unhappiness. So this one I talk about. What else? Yeah, I think there's this piece around recognizing your own needs, which is something that people with a pleasing tendency don't make time and space for. So some questions that I would put to you would be, how do you need to be supported? You're very busy supporting other people, but how do you need to be supported, particularly in times when you're struggling? What are your needs? Do you know what your needs are? Have you ever stopped to think about what you need, be it from work or relationships, or just to feel motivated and engaged? How can people help you? So yes, how do you need to be supported? But what is it that you want or expect from people, either in your life or in your work situation? What does it feel like when people help you? So you're busy helping other people. How does it feel to be helped? Is that a good thing? Do you need it? Or is it somewhat uncomfortable for you? So spending some time to really recognise your own needs can help to address that balance between how much you're helping others and how much you're also taking the time out to address your own needs. And then I finish up talking about this piece around it's okay to have a difference of opinion. And I thought I'd put this one in because some of my own experiences actually around how I experience being challenged and how I experience having a difference of opinion. And when you're in a people-pleasing place, it can feel really uncomfortable to have a difference of opinion. So you can be very agreeable. And when you're very agreeable, it can be really hard to say no. And saying no is often one of the things that people with this pleasing tendency struggle with the most. So I've got some tools and tips in there in terms of how you can get more comfortable having a difference of opinion. So if you relate to this and some of it sounds like you, then please take a visit to my blog at www.zoe-hawkins.com/blog and let me know what you think. Thanks very much. Bye.